when I moved to Burke, Virginia, which was like a good neighborhood. It wasn't bad. Um, there were good kids in it, just very few bad people. But the community had like a neighborhood watch, and neighbors knew each other, and there was no drama, no incidents, where police had to come out and lock people up. So it was a complete change for me, but I still had like that hood mentality because I was brought up in the ghetto, and I had so many friends who were thugs and gangsters, and I considered myself a gangster at the time, and I got a tattoo, from being in the gang too well. The martial law has disappeared on its own. I got this when I was a kid. I haven't even reached puberty yet, and I was given a tattoo to be in a gang. So it was like hardcore, thug life. Growing up. I know it was worse, in the 80s, before I was growing up, but in the 90s it got real deep and sophisticated, and we had the use of technology and then cell phones. You know, it was just uh, upper class gangster. That's what most of us were trying to achieve. And I used to roll with also a group called Crips and the Folks, and I knew people in a gang called Bloods, and they definitely hated each other. There were people, killing each other. Like uh, one of my friends, there was a rival gang trying to kill him, but they ended up killing another guy. And my sister Star was there to have witnessed this to happen, and at a multiple cinemas, and people were getting shot and getting run over by cars. My best friend at the time had shot my other friend, who I knew, over detail. I mean, things were nuts. It was getting crazy and out of control at that time. And I was invited by the leaders of the gang Folks, BGD, and Crips. Out of the hundreds of gangsters that they had, they trusted me, and it was a three-man mission. And it was me, it was the leader, this guy named Dub, D-U-B, like a dub sack, and another guy named Al. And these guys were well known, well respected, especially Dub, very smart. He dealt with like the mafia, and at the time he was on top of things. Uh, I was shocked to see that at the age of 17, when he was 17, he had his house under someone else's name, and it had a pool in the backyard, and he would have like over 70 or 80 pounds of bricks of marijuana inside there, which he would point it out to me. He said, "That's money." He would have girls around me, and it was just like a fairy tale, like a movie, And I was the young guy coming of 13 and 14 years old, and just being invited and being trusted to be around this stuff. It really had a lot of respect for me, I guess, because the way I carried myself, I was such a sincere person, and so audacious, and I didn't fear much, but I had a lot of respect, and I had the talent of singing, I had the talent of fighting, I was always honest, so and I still am. I still can sing, I still can fight, and I'm honest, mashallah. So I was invited by Dub to go on a mission, and I felt like if I was rejected, that I would not be a part of their crew. They wouldn't trust me anymore, and once you lose, it's pretty dangerous, because you can get killed, or you get jumped, or anything bad can happen to you. They can make your name bad, and you will lose respect in the neighborhood, or on the block. So I know what I was getting myself into, and the mission was to go to a veterinarian clinic, which was a cat clinic, and we went over there. It was three of us, me, the leader, Dub, and this guy Al. We drove this brand new car, a Pontiac car, and we got to the cat clinic. And down the street from the cat clinic was a police station. So I was a lookout man, because I was very good at that. They called me Tweety because I could see a lot of things. I was very smart, I was wise, I was alert, and I was strong. So I was out while the both of them went to the cat clinic, and they broke in to it, and they knew exactly where to go because it was an inside job too. Someone who worked there had given them all this information about where everything is. So they got the vials of ketamine, which is cat tranquilizer, and they used that to make a drug, a narcotic called Special K. They got all the money out of the safe. They had shovels. They broke the safe with shovels. You know, they were pretty smart. And then they ran outside. They jumped in the car and to drive. And you know, I didn't even have a license, but I still drove. And I got us safely to a neighborhood, and we switched drivers. And then Al started to drive, and then we pulled over again, and then Dub drove, and we got to this mansion. And this mansion was huge, and Dub told Al to stay in the car, but he said, "Tweety, get out of the car." So I got out of the car with him, and I walked with him to the front steps. We walked all the way up the steps, and he rang the doorbell of this mansion. It was like one of those big double doors, exquisite, you know, fancy type of doors with pillars, and you know, in the front. And this beautiful lady opened the door, and according to Dub later on, she's an Italian lady from the Italian mob. Again, it felt like a movie, you know, like you in movies. That's like most of the mobsters are Italian, and here I am. I get to meet a real Italian mobster, not only a mobster but a female, you know, which was a wife of a mobster, but still she's a part of the mob. And she panicked right away because she's like, "Who is this kid?" And oh no, he's cool, you know. And she was worried about snitching. He was like, no, he knows it, you know. We kill him if that was to happen. I got a little paranoid hearing that, but I wasn't worried because I wasn't no snitch, you know. So, but just every time I'm hearing, you know, killing from, you know, your own friends, I thought it would be embarrassing to get killed by, you know, your own gangs or your own gang members or your own friends. So I definitely didn't want to go out that way, you know, although I wasn't afraid of dying. So I always had to show respect and show, you know, my honesty and sincerity. So she gave him money, and she gave him some narcotics, and then also she told us to go to the garbage can, and she shut the door, and we went to the garbage can in the driveway. And as soon as we opened the lid of the garbage can, that's when I knew what our next mission was. It was the same night of the burglary of the bank. I mean, this was mission number 2. Seen all these weapons inside there, so I knew we were going after to either hurt someone, damage someone real bad, or kill them. And so Dub told me that we're getting paid by the mafia to go kill a doctor who raped a girl, and he put her like on anesthesia and raped her because the doctor was like an OB/GYN gynecologist or something like that, and he happened to rape the niece of a mobster of the Italian mob, and we were paid to go take care of the situation. And I don't agree in killing other people, you know, and it's terrible that I got myself in that situation, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I'm nervous, and I was afraid that if I speak up and say, "Hey, I have to go home," that, you know, I would get killed on the spot. So I just had to go with the flow. And we ended up driving for about an hour, and then finally we came to the neighborhood, and it was big homes because the man was a doctor. He apparently had money himself, and his house was at a dead end. Out of the car, we parked the car, popped the trunk, we got all the weapons, and we started walking towards his house. And Dub was looking at the windows and trying to open the windows to see if they were unlocked. He was just trying to get this over with real quick, and he was about to break the windows. I said, no, wait. I was like, "Why don't you go check if the back doors are open, you know?" And we walked around back, and there was a patio, and then there was a sliding glass door. So he ends up pulling the sliding glass door, and it was unlocked, and it opened up. And I thought that I heard like a very quiet alarm when he opened the sliding glass door. I wasn't too sure, but at the same time, I knew that I heard something. So Dub went inside there, then Al went in next, and I jumped over the patio and I hid behind bushes because I got frightened. Not because because I was scared of the situation. I didn't want to kill anybody. I was scared for the person inside there. Maybe he did such a terrible thing, a deplorable thing, where he, supposedly raped uh, uh, the mobster's niece, but I just didn't feel it was right to kill. And so Al came back outside. He's like, "Tweety, where are you?" And I whispered to him. I was like, "Behind the bushes." And he jumped over the patio and he came to me. He's like, "What are you doing, man? Come on inside with your team. Come on." I was like, "Man, I'm scared. I'm not going inside there, man. This is wrong." I was like, "I thought I heard an alarm and everything." And I was like, "Fine, I'm gonna stay here with you." And inside the house, I heard him yelling and bang and bang and all this just crazy noise. Like, it was terrible. And then I hear police sirens, and the police sirens start to get closer and closer, louder and louder. And then I start to see the blue lights, flashing, and it was reflecting off the other homes and the trees and stuff like that. And there was a lot of cop cars that surround the neighborhood. And I don't know, someone inside called the cops or the neighbor, or possibly the alarm went off, and I was right. Um, then the police started running around the house, surrounding the house, and they pull out flashlights and looking around, and with weapons drawn. They had their guns, their Glocks out, and one of the cops points his flashlight directly at my eyes, and he sees a reflection of the light reflect off my eyes, and that's how he knew that it was an individual there. And he pointed his gun towards me. He's like, "Freeze, police, put your hands up." And I stood up, put my hands up, and I was like, "Yo, get back down, get back down." I was like, "Man, they already see us, man. What are you talking about? They're gonna shoot us if we don't put our hands up." So I gotta put my hands up, and then Al, he got up, put his hands up. But then I said, "You know what? I'm about to go to jail for something that I did not even want to get myself into." I said, "I'm so young. I'm a teenager. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison." So I turned around, and the cops yelled at me, "Don't you dare, you better freeze, we'll shoot. I'd rather get shot than go to jail. I started running and running and running, and I had a feeling that they can't shoot me from the back, and I had a feeling that they seen that I looked young. So I was running so fast, and then Al yelled, he's like, "Wait, Tweety, wait." And I turn around and I see he's running too, and the cops are chasing us, through the woods. And I'm running so fast that every time I look back, Al is further and further back, more further and further back, So he's outrunning the cops, and I'm outrunning him. So I'm twice as fast, because of all the adrenaline inside me, and me being an athlete, and Mr. Karate Kid, So I jumped after I cleared the woods. I ran into a fence. It was a high fence, and I jumped over like I was Spider-Man, And then there was another residential neighborhood with homes, and I heard helicopters getting involved in this situation, so I had to hide underneath someone's patio, and I heard dogs barking. So I thought they had canine dogs out there, but it could have been the neighbor's dogs, and I was paranoid, but I had to be careful. And I took all of this mud and dirt, and I started to cover my pores and my face, and I thought that would help, keep or prevent the dogs from picking up my scent. I didn't learn this anywhere. These were just human survival instincts that I had inside me that were being implemented at that time, And so a few minutes went by, and then the helicopter went away. And that was my cue to get up and keep running, in the same direction that I was going, and getting away from the house. So as I was running, I came to another wooded area, and I was walking through the woods, and there was a path, and I got surprised by a cop car in the middle of the woods. It happened to be a driveway in there. I thought, uh-oh, this is dangerous, And I said, if I turn around right now, it's going to look obvious if he's looking at me. So I should keep walking and pretend like I'm just going for a stroll, going for a walk. I said, by the way, they probably think that it's, black men who are doing it, and I look Hispanic at the time, So I'm walking in front of his cop car, and he doesn't even do anything. And I quickly look, at the corner of my eyes to see what he's doing, and he's looking inside of his police cruiser either at his computer or at a paper or something else. And it seemed like he had like a red light on inside there, and he was busy looking inside. And luckily, God willed it that he was not looking at, didn't see me, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if I was Chinese or white or whatever. He would have stopped the person and asked, "Have you seen these people who are running?" And but he didn't see me, and I feel that God had protected me, mashallah. I got to another neighborhood, and I seen a Hispanic lady walking to her car, and she was probably in her early 20s. And I when she got in her car, I tapped on the window. She got very scared because I creeped up on her, and she seen that I was a kid, a teenager, and I was a handsome teenager at that time. So she rolled down the window, and she's like, "Yeah, can I help you?" And it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning at this time, and I told her, I was like, there was a big house party not too far from here, and a lot of people were underage and drinking and stuff like that, and the police came and broke it up, and I was my ride, they took him to jail, and there's police everywhere. She's like, "Oh, so that's why there's helicopters and police noise everywhere." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "If my mom finds out, I'm gonna get in deep trouble. She's gonna ground me for a long time." I was like, "I'm not even supposed to left the house." I was like, "Can you please give me a ride, and I'll give you money. I'll give you gas money." And I had a couple $100 on me at the time, because Dub and Al gave it to me after the cat clinic situation. So she said, "Sure, come on in." And she said, "Where do you live?" And I thought twice about it. Like, if I tell her where I live, then she's going to basically tell the cops, where I live, and that would be bad. So I told her to take me to a gas station, and she took me to the gas station, although she offered to take me home. And the reason why I told her to take me to a gas station is because I wanted to call a cab from there. And I said, it's better if I call a cab. That was my excuse. I said, it's better if I call a cab, because the cab will take me home, and my mom will see that I came in a cab, and she will be upset that if I come with the girl. And the Hispanic lady, smiled, and she understood. And the whole time that, the entire way that she's driving, we have cops flying by us, going everywhere. There was cops everywhere. She's like, "Wow, it must have been a big, crazy, wild party." And I said, "Yeah, it was. There were so many people, and there was fights breaking out." And so I gave her some type of excuse as to why there was a lot of cops there. And she ended up dropping me off at the gas station, and I ended up leaving. I ended up waiting for a cab. My computer's messing up right now, so I can't even see what's going on.